One of the biggest questions that I receive as a certified pediatric sleep consultant is the SNOO worth it? Should I buy the SNOO? Should I spend the money? Is it something that I need for my baby? I am going to give you my honest review of the SNOO, both positive and negative, so let's get right into it. Hi, my name is Sarah, and as the lead sleep expert at Your Zen Baby Sleep, I have helped over 500 families one-on-one and thousands of families worldwide in my group coaching programs to get their babies, toddlers, and preschoolers sleep on track. I am excited to be your trusted resource and to give you all of the benefits as well as maybe the not so great parts about getting a SNOO. For anyone who's not familiar with the SNOO, it is a very innovative bassinet for babies to be used through the age of about 6 months old. Some of the features of the SNOO: it allows your baby to stay swaddled and in a flat back-lying position. It also allows your baby to stay in that position because it has little hooks on the side so that the baby does not move around. The SNOO has a motion sensor that will move and increase the intensity of the motion in response to your child's cries, so it does provide some soothing without parental intervention. And it has a really sleek design and a small footprint so it can fit into even the smallest of bedrooms to be room sharing with your baby. The price point of the SNOO at the time of the publishing of this video is just below $1,700. So in terms of expense and cost on the range of baby bassinets, it is definitely on the upper end and a more expensive product that you would invest in for your child's sleep. Let's first talk about some of the potential benefits of having a SNOO. Number one, having your baby lying on their back in a safe sleep space is so important and priceless in my mind, because I want to make sure that my baby is in the safest space possible when I am exhausted and not able to maybe fully function or make the best choices in the middle of the night after being on 2 hours of broken sleep over the course of the last 2 weeks. This is something that the SNOO allows for, peace of mind for parents. Again, it allows parents to room share with their baby and be really close to the bassinet because it can sit bedside. And in addition, the SNOO can provide that level of soothing. So instead of you needing to be awake and comforting your baby, you can catch some extra Z's while your baby is soothed or calmed by the motion of the SNOO bassinet. I have worked with many families who really swore by the SNOO, who really felt that they got such a better night's sleep and were able to get longer stretches out of their child and really enjoy more of the postpartum period than families that were not choosing to use the SNOO. So there is an effectiveness level to it, and what the company promotes is something that families do see. I would definitely suggest that you head over to their website. They have lots of information about the SNOO and its functioning, and information about Dr. Harvey Karp, who invented it, as well as all of the benefits that can be derived from utilizing a motion bassinet. However, that being said, it is not something that your baby necessarily will like. And this is the problem that I see many families run into. If your baby likes the SNOO, it's going to be a benefit to you. You won't know that they like it until you bring them home from the hospital and put them in the actual SNOO. There are some babies who just don't like the motion of being rocked back and forth. That's not soothing to them. And if that's not something that helps them soothe, the SNOO's function of the rocking without parental intervention is not going to be beneficial to your baby. Another piece of the SNOO that they did find a solve for, but something that still affects babies greatly, is the fact that it is not conducive to helping reflux babies. For reflux babies in particular, it's really hard for them to keep their milk down and to digest it in an appropriate amount of time. And as a result, we need to keep reflux babies held upright for a certain amount of time after their feedings. We still want to make sure that they are placed on their back for sleep. However, if the motion of the SNOO starts jiggling them around, it is more likely that the milk is going to regurgitate and come up and make them uncomfortable. Fortunately, we don't know if we have a reflux baby until they are here and about 2 to 4 weeks old. So it's a little bit hard to plan for you possibly walking through managing reflux if you buy a SNOO and find out that your child doesn't like it ahead of time. Let's talk about what happens after your child has grown out of the SNOO. One concern that many families have when they come to me is, if I get the SNOO and my child ends up loving it and they do really well, is it going to be a nightmare when I transition them to the crib and they're no longer getting this motion sleep? And what I say to families is, listen, your child is going to learn something new whenever you're ready to teach them. I don't ever see any much of a difference from a child who's learning how to transition from a non-motion bassinet to the crib, or from co-sleeping to the crib, or from the SNOO to the crib. All of it is going to be a learning curve. We are going to need to have a plan and a method that works for us to help them get adjusted to their new sleep space. And the way they started out sleeping is not going to be an indicator of how they are going to continue sleeping, because we can teach something new at any time. So this leaves us to a very gray area, because I am neither for or against the SNOO. What I want to give you is all of the tools to prepare you to make a good decision for your own individual family. Here are some ways to accommodate your questions. Number one, if you have very generous friends and family members and you know that someone will purchase the SNOO for you off of your registry, go for it and register for it. There's nothing wrong with having it up there, and if you end up receiving it as a gift, then it's awesome. Number two, see if you can borrow a SNOO from a friend or a family member. They are popular enough now that I'm sure there are enough people within your circle that would be able to lend it to you for a little bit of time. If those two aren't options for you, the third option would be to participate in the SNOO rental program. This is what I find is the best for really any family who's really nervous about sleep and really thinks that it's something that can help, but also doesn't really want to pay the $1,700 price tag, especially if it's not going to work for their child. The rental program is something to look into, because then you can rent it for a short period of time and you can always send it back when you're done if it does work, or earlier should you realize that your child has not really taken well to the SNOO. A final option to consider, the fact that these SNOOs have a pretty good resale value. So if you look on local Facebook marketplaces, often families are selling the SNOO, obviously not at full cost, but for a considerable chunk of the amount that they have paid for it. So if this is a piece of furniture that you believe you will use for one and multiple children and get your use out of it, you can always lean back on the fact that you can receive some money back when selling it on a third-party market. What other questions do you have about the SNOO or any other baby products that you would like more information on? Be sure to leave them in the comments below. I would love to interact with you. While you're scrolling down, give the video the like to make sure I know that you enjoyed it. And as always, subscribe to my channel so you can be the first to know when I publish new content. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and sweet dreams.